Meet Sara. She's 34 years old, marketing director. Everyone calls her the reliable one. She hasn't missed a deadline in 3 years. Her friends joke that she's the group therapist. And last Tuesday, when her boyfriend told her he loved her, she smiled, said it back, and then went to the bathroom and stared at herself in the mirror for 10 minutes, feeling absolutely nothing. Sara doesn't know why she can't feel joy, but I do, because Sara's story started long before last Tuesday. No one notices at first. Sara is 7 years old, staring into the eyes of a mother who is falling apart. Depression, they'll call it later. But right now, it's just mom on the couch, silent for days. Dad working double shifts, pretending everything's fine. And without words, something ancient clicks in Sara's small mind. If I don't hold everything together, no one will. This is how a child disappears, not physically, but psychologically. Sara smiles more, she cries less, she learns to make breakfast for her little brother, she learns to read the room before she speaks. She becomes the emotional thermostat of the household. She becomes a small adult long before her mind is ready, and the world praises her for it. You're so mature, you're so responsible, you're so strong. But no one ever stops to ask, at what cost? Fast forward to now. Sara sits in her pristine apartment, the kind of place that looks like a magazine spread. Everything in its place, nothing messy, nothing out of control. She works 12-hour days and calls it ambition. She's been dating Michael for 2 years but can't move in with him because she values her independence. She hasn't called her mother in 3 weeks, even though she calls everyone else back within the hour. And tonight, alone with a glass of wine, she asks herself the question she's been avoiding. Why do I feel like I'm watching my own life through glass? This is the invisible grief of those who grew up too fast. And today we're going deep inside the psychology of that child, Sara's child, maybe your child, because the effects don't vanish with age. They shape you. They follow you into relationships, careers, your sense of worth. And if you don't understand what happened, you'll spend your adult life repeating the survival patterns that once saved you, but are now slowly killing you. Let's start with what's really happening developmentally. When children are forced to emotionally support adults instead of the other way around, psychologists call this parentification. It's when a child becomes the caregiver, the peacekeeper, the therapist, the protector. For Sara, it looked like this. Age 8, learning to forge her mom's signature on permission slips. Age 10, lying to teachers about why she's tired. Age 12, becoming the mediator when her parents fight. Age 14, the first panic attack dismissed as just stress from school. This isn't just unhealthy, it rewires the brain, because when a child is consistently put in charge of emotional regulation, either their own or others, it creates something called hypervigilance. Even now, Sara can't relax at parties. She's always scanning. Who's uncomfortable? Who's about to leave? Who needs rescuing? Michael once told her, "You never just sit with me. You're always managing something." He was right. Because Sara learned early that love is a transaction. You give peace, and maybe they'll give you safety. You learn that your needs are dangerous, and theirs are urgent. So you disappear. Not physically, but emotionally. And in your place grows a version of you that performs well. You become the good child, the quiet achiever, the therapist friend, the one who never asks for anything. And you wear that identity so convincingly that even you forget it's a mask. But deep down, something hurts, something aches. 3 months ago, Sara's best friend called her, crying at 2 a.m, breakup, heartbreak. Sara talked her down, made her laugh, promised to come over in the morning. She hung up feeling proud of herself, but then something cracked. She looked at her phone and thought, who do I call when I'm falling apart? The answer was no one, because the inner child she buried didn't die. She's still in there, screaming silently, Why didn't anyone protect me? As you grow older, the symptoms become more complex. Sara has become hyper-independent. She refuses help, pushes people away when they get too close, never feels truly safe in love. She feels numb during happy moments because joy feels unfamiliar, unearned, even dangerous. She struggles to rest because productivity is the only way she's ever felt worthy. And worst of all, she doesn't even realize she's still stuck in survival mode, because when dysfunction is normalized early, your nervous system accepts chaos as baseline. Stillness feels wrong, peace feels suspicious, love feels like a debt you'll have to repay. This is the psychology of a child forced to grow up too fast. It's not just sadness, it's a complex trauma that reshapes how you view the world, and more importantly, yourself. Now you may ask, why would any child willingly take on that role? Why would Sara sacrifice her childhood to parent her own parents? Because children will do anything for attachment, even abandon themselves. The choice is never conscious, it's biological. 7-year-old Sara didn't think, I'll become the caregiver to ensure survival. She just felt terror when Mum stopped getting out of bed, and then discovered that making breakfast made Mum smile. And that smile, that tiny moment of connection, became her drug. In the absence of safety, the child sacrifices authenticity for belonging. That's not weakness, that's intelligence, that's instinct. But the tragedy is this: what saved you then imprisons you now. Sara's pattern. So many of us are walking around as high-functioning adults with deeply neglected inner children pulling the strings. Sara overachieves to earn love. She stays silent to avoid abandonment. She takes care of everyone, but secretly wishes someone would just ask if she's okay. And that fantasy that someone will notice she's not as strong as she pretends to be, that maybe, just maybe, she'll finally get to fall apart and be held. That is the unmet need, not of her adult self, but of the child who never got to be a child. Last month, something shifted for Sara. She was at her brother's house watching his 6-year-old daughter have a meltdown over a broken toy. Full sobbing, snot everywhere, the works. And Sara's brother just held her, rocked her, whispered, "It's okay to be upset. I've got you." And Sara, 34-year-old Sara, excused herself and cried in the bathroom because she realized, no one ever held me like that. The first step to healing isn't fixing, it's witnessing, because until you validate what happened, you'll keep gaslighting yourself with thoughts like, it wasn't that bad. Other people had it worse. I turned out fine. But fine is a mask too, and deep down you know it. So what happens to that child when they grow up? They become adults who never feel safe, even in calm rooms. They become lovers who can't trust softness. They become givers who can't receive. They become the kind of people who apologize for crying, flinch at compliments, and confuse exhaustion with success. Sara is all of these things, but she's starting to understand why. This is the cost of growing up too fast. Because if your childhood trained you to be strong at the expense of being soft, to be quiet instead of honest, to fix others while ignoring your own fractures, then what kind of adulthood do you inherit? You inherit a life where you're always holding your breath, waiting for someone to give you permission to finally fall apart. But here's the truth. No one's coming to rescue the child you buried. You are the one who must go back and hold their hand. You are the one who must say what no one else ever said. You didn't deserve that. You were just a child. You get to rest now. Sara started therapy 3 weeks ago. Not the kind where she helps the therapist feel comfortable, the kind where she cries ugly cries for the first time in years. Her therapist asked her a simple question. What did you need back then that you never got? And Sara heard her 7-year-old voice answer, "I needed someone to tell me it wasn't my job to fix everything. I needed someone to ask how I was doing. I needed to play, rest, and laugh without fear. I needed to be a kid." This is the beginning of shadow work. Not fixing, not performing, not bypassing the pain with fake positivity, but turning toward the abandoned parts of yourself and saying, "I see you now, I hear you now, and I'm not leaving." That is the reparenting process. And it's brutal because it asks you to feel the grief you never had time to feel. It asks you to sit with the rage, the sorrow, the unmet needs, to weep for the birthdays where no one showed up, to mourn the innocence you lost while protecting people who should have protected you. But that grief, it's not weakness, it's proof that you're healing. Because what was once frozen is finally thawing. Let's talk about how this survival pattern shows up in adulthood, subtly, tragically, and often invisibly. For Sara, it looks like being the therapist in all her friendships, but never letting anyone truly see her. Being praised for her independence when deep down, she's terrified of being a burden. Being in a relationship where she overfunctions, always fixing, managing, over-explaining, and wondering why she feels resentful. She struggles with boundaries because saying no still feels like betrayal. When Michael asks her to take a day off to go hiking, she panics. "I have too much to do." What she means is, if I stop being productive, who am I? If I stop being useful, will you still want me? These are not personality traits, they are coping strategies, learned, conditioned, and the good news, unlearnable. But only when you stop idolizing your strength and start honoring your wounds. Sara has started a practice. Every night before bed, she asks her inner child, "What did I need back then that I never got?" Sometimes she hears, "I needed someone to tell me it wasn't my fault." Sometimes, "I needed someone to ask how I was doing." Sometimes, "I needed to play without fear." And slowly, very slowly, she's beginning to give those things to herself. She bought finger paints last week. Silly, she thought. But then she spent an hour making a mess on paper. No goal, no product, just play. And something inside her softened, not to fix her past, but to stop reliving it. This is how you stop seeking parents in your partners. This is how you stop mistaking anxiety for intuition. This is how you stop running from the child you were and the self you're becoming. Carl Jung once said, "There is no coming to consciousness without pain. People will do anything, no matter how absurd, to avoid facing their own soul." But shadow work demands that we face it, all of it. The neglected, the ashamed, the scared, the angry. Because healing isn't about becoming someone new. It's about remembering who you were before the world told you who to be. Sara is still Sara. She still works hard. She's still the friend people call in a crisis. But something has changed. Last week, she told Michael she was scared. Just that. "I'm scared of needing you." And instead of performing strength, she let him see her shake. He held her. She didn't pull away. For the first time in her adult life, she let herself be small and safe in someone's arms. She called her mom last Sunday, not to check on her, just to talk. It was awkward, halting, but it was real. She's learning that healing the past doesn't mean fixing her parents. It means accepting what was and choosing what will be. She's learning that rest isn't laziness, that asking for help isn't weakness, that crying doesn't make you broken, it makes you human. So if you're someone who grew up too fast, know this: your maturity was never the problem. The problem was that you had no choice. But now you do. You can choose softness, you can choose to rest. You can choose to stop managing everyone else's emotions and start honoring your own. And no, it won't happen overnight. There will be days you feel like a child again. Good. That's the point. Let that child come home. Let them cry. Let them play. Let them finally be seen, because you're not broken. You're becoming whole. Sara is sitting in her apartment, but it looks different now. There's a messy art project on the table, a plant she's trying not to kill, Michael's jacket on the chair, evidence of life being lived, not just managed. She's looking at a photograph of herself at age 7, school picture day. That forced smile, those old eyes. And for the first time, she doesn't feel angry at that little girl for not being strong enough. She feels heartbroken for her. And then she feels something else, fierce, protective love. "I've got you now," she whispers to the photo. "I've got you." Maybe for the first time you're finally growing up the right way, not through pressure, not through fear, but through truth. You never had a childhood, but you still have a future, and this time you get to write it. One thing you can do today: set a timer for 5 minutes. Close your eyes. Ask your inner child, "Now, what did you need back then that you never got?" Don't judge the answer. Just listen. Write it down. That's where your healing begins.